So what's going on YouTube? In this week's episode of Recapping Wandavision, we talk about episode 7, Breaking the Fourth Wall. I thought it would be cool to do something that sounded like more official, professional, or whatever you want to speak. But what's going on YouTube? This is JeffMan316, your pop culture reporter. And like I said, we're going to be talking about episode 7 of Wandavision. It's entitled Breaking the Fourth Wall. And I really enjoyed the concepts and how they presented this episode this week. So yeah, the concept of breaking a fourth wall is kind of cool. It's almost like making a video and posting it like on YouTube, where you're just like talking right out to the camera. So it's kind of a cool concept, you know, like on YouTube. You hope you do that and maybe build up an audience where they can go ahead and do comments and stuff, and then hopefully you get likes or maybe even dislikes, or maybe people like it enough where they'll subscribe to your channel. After they subscribe, you know, it's kind of cool when they hit the notification bell, because I love it when I do that. And then, you know, when people post new videos, so you'll be the first to know that. So this is a really cool concept, and I hope other shows might do this, because at first it might seem a little annoying when Modern Family did it, but I think it was pretty cool when they did it on here, because it made it to where the story wasn't just linear. You didn't see what was going on just in front of you. They actually did a little exposition and explained it. So it's kind of cool when that happens. So like I said, really enjoyed the concepts, the way that they did, you know, talking to the screen, like breaking the fourth wall, and then the way they did the different aspect ratios. I'm loving how they do that. So really enjoyable episode. I think, like I said, it's ramped up each week. It's gotten better and better, to the point to where I'm almost looking, you know, can't wait to see the next episode as soon as I'm done watching the current one. So let's go ahead and jump into the recap of this week's episode of WandaVision. Let's go. So like I said, I'm going to jump into this week's episode of WandaVision. It's episode 7. It's entitled Breaking the Fourth Wall. So if it goes by what everybody says, you only got 2 episodes left. So like I said in the intro, I really enjoyed the concepts. This one is designed to be kind of like Modern Family. So they got a lot of fourth wall breaks, where the characters stop what they're doing, or it breaks into to where they're in a setting like on a couch, or just in a chair, sitting down, casually speaking to the screen like they do on Modern Family, which I don't like Modern Family that much, but in this way, the way they're doing the presentation, I really like it, because it gives it some more exposition and some more explanation of how the characters are feeling and what's going on. So yeah, like breaking the fourth wall is kind of cool. It's like a way to tell a story different, instead of doing just like a linear see what's in front of you. It's like they're able to put some exposition behind it and tell the story in a different way. So it's really cool when they do that, because I enjoyed it when Vision and everybody was like talking to the camera, you know, like when it's just like you and the camera, and then like that's how you get your message out to the audience. That's pretty cool. Yeah, the way they present the information, it really lets you get into the headspace of the characters. So like they'll either say something casually, or you know, hint at something, but sometimes they just point blank tell you exactly what they're thinking and how they're feeling, especially Vision in this episode. You know, the original episodes, the first couple started with like a 4:3 aspect ratio, like the television shows would have been during the decades that they were presenting. And then once you got outside of the hex, the aspect ratio changed, so it would be like and expand it to be more like cinematic. And they do that in this one, where they change multiple aspect ratios as they bounce back and forth. So I think that's pretty cool. So in this episode, Wanda starts off and she's just extremely exhausted, and I'm guessing it's because of all the strength and power that it took to expand that barrier and make Westview bigger, like it did at the end of the last episode, and it just pulled all of her strength out and, like, you know, made her really weak. It starts out where she's in bed, and I don't know if you caught it. I thought it looked like the covers had like the hex symbol on it, which, you know, is kind of like subtly telling you, you know, that she's within the hex or whatever. So, you know, they've already called it that anyway. On the outside, especially, I think Darcy's the one who came up with that nickname. But think about it. So she's in bed before the kids get there. She's covering up. Feels all warm and safe with the blanket with the hex symbols on it. I mean, I think that's really, symbolizes how safe she feels within this Westview world, within the hex that she's created. So then once she gets up, she starts noticing some weird stuff. It's like different objects in the house start changing their look based on how they would look in the different decades. Like there's a television in one scene, and it goes from like a more modern television all the way back to the old school box sets. So when she's in the middle of trying to figure out what's going on, Agnes comes over and says, maybe she needs kind of like a mommy day or to sort things out. She takes the kids to babysit them for the day and takes them back to her place. So then throughout, Wanda's trying to, rest and relax and figure out, what these little anomalies are going on around her. And then while she's doing that, Vision is out still wandering around Westview on the outskirts, trying to find out more about what's going on in this world inside of this hex bubble. And so he ends up rescuing Darcy, who's kind of trapped in that traveling circus thing that's going on the outside, where all those sword members got caught up in the bubble when it expanded. And the two of them then try to get back to his home, and it's kind of got some comedic elements there that I also liked in this episode, about them trying to get back and then all the things that are getting thrown out in front of them to try to stop them from getting back to the house where Wanda's at. So it makes you seem like somebody obviously is in more control of this situation, and they want to isolate Wanda's, make it the way it seems to me. So also with all these things, these blips happening and all these objects changing shape, it seems like Wanda's losing control. And maybe it's because she's so weak that she can't keep the reality that she's created, or whoever's created, under her control, and things keep zapping back and forth in all these different decades. Maybe they're, different versions of realities. There's even mention of that in the ad that runs in the middle. That's for a pill called Nexus, which is almost like it's a drug that you're supposed to take that's supposed to calm your nerves and make you settle in on the reality of whichever one that is. So that kind of makes mention of multiple realities. And then so while Vision is traveling on the outside and trying to get back, the outside characters more focus on Monica this time, outside of the bubble. And what she wants to do is get back into the Hex Westview world to see what's happening with Wanda. And basically she's worried about Wanda. She thinks Wanda's getting ready to crack. So she ends up attempting to go through the force field of the outer wall of it using a vehicle, and it doesn't work. So she just says screw it, and she just ends up running through the barrier herself. And the cool thing about this is that ends up, to me, triggering the last phase of her molecular change or whatever, and it kind of makes her into the powerful being that I thought she was going to become. I won't dig too deep into that, but it's a really cool scene when she's trying to fight through that force field, and you can hear in the background some characters from what I think is the Captain Marvel movie speaking to her. I swear you hear Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, and you hear Captain Marvel herself speaking to Monica as she's going through there. So then finally when she busts through, there's a cool moment where you kind of see almost like a stance, like a superhero stance, when she lands on the ground, like a 3-point stance, almost like she's ready to go and she's at full strength. She's powered up, if you want to go in like video game terms. So that's kind of what's happening with the three main characters in this one. So the main characters would be Wanda and what's going on with her, Vision still searching, and then Monica trying to come in and save the day. So without spoiling the end terribly, I will say that this whole time when I've been saying that Agnes has got to be something more powerful or someone different than who she seems to be, just another character, you do find out she's not just another character. Let's just say she was doing something to help manipulate the world around them to make it to where in this episode that Wanda was more by herself, and that kind of keeping her and Vision occupied so they're not together. And if you notice that Wanda is literally by herself in this whole episode. She doesn't have anybody around her to help either distract her or help her get through the troubles. So with that being said, let's go through some of the questions that I came up with after watching the episode. Did you notice that everybody seems to be calling Monica by her rank of captain in this, and not just by her name, Monica Rambeau? I'm wondering if that's kind of maybe foreshadowing something that's going to happen in the future. Like I said before, that Nexus commercial, do you think that could be, just talking about multiple and alternate realities, do you think that could be something leading into this multiverse thing that I've mentioned in some of my past videos? When Agnes takes the kids over to babysit them for Wanda, here's another question. Did you notice the rabbit that they had there? They always seem to focus on it, and she kept calling him Senor Scratchy. Now, I did a quick Google search of Senor Scratchy, and how it might pertain to the Marvel world, because I'm not that deep into the Marvel lore and all the backstories of most of these characters. I'm learning a lot of this stuff as we go. I was more of a DC guy when I was growing up, but do that, because I think you'll learn a lot about the possibility of who or someone else that's going to be involved in these last couple of episodes to wrap it up. I still say it's got to be something to do with multiverses. Because I swear I read that this thing is going to tie into the next Doctor Strange movie. And then once Wanda decides to go over, or Agnes pulls her over, actually, once she has her confrontation with Monica, which is a really cool, I don't want to spoil it, there's a big confrontation between Wanda and Monica toward the end. That's pretty amazing. I like the direction that's taking. But once Agnes pulls her away and goes over to the house, Wanda's looking for the kids and can't find them. So I don't know if you've noticed that the kids kind of vanished in this episode. I'm wondering if someone, whether it be Agnes or someone else, did that on purpose to try to separate the kids from Wanda, because maybe they were getting a little too powerful or self-aware or whatever. And so, like, the other question is, who is Pietro really? We didn't really see a lot of him in this episode. Maybe there's more of him than you think. Maybe you need to take a second look, because there could be something else going on that expanded his role in this episode. Yeah, I love how the MCU movies, how at the end they sometimes put those extra scenes on there, so you can like learn new things, or its secret hidden meanings, or see how the story has progressed. Too bad they didn't do that on this episode. Or did they? I don't know. Maybe you should check it out and find out for yourself. Well, what do you think? Like I said, I think the questions are kind of tightening up. I don't have quite as many. They've answered a few. I really think this episode, the next two, are going to be awesome, and I can't wait to see are there going to be any characters from in the MCU that are going to debut, other than just adding a few extra characters here and there from to expand the story. I think I really need somebody crossing over from the other ones to really hook in this into the MCU and make me really want to see the Doctor Strange movie or whatever the next movie is going to hook into this. So I can't wait for the next few episodes. What about you? I think things are really going to explode in more ways than one here. And I really want to see who the big bad in the end of this is, and is that going to be the big bad in the next whatever the next movie is, whether it be Doctor Strange or another one. So that being said, I really do appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me, and been going through a lot of personal issues lately, financial and just on a personal level. Don't want to dig too deep into that, but any support you guys can give me, whether it be thoughts, prayers, supporting this channel, hit me with something, a donation or something on my Cash App. Whatever you guys can do would be much appreciated. Like I said, even if it's just thoughts and prayers, I could use your support at this time. This YouTube channel has been one way to take my mind off of things, and I really do appreciate the support. So keep supporting me, if you will, by go ahead and giving the thumbs up, hitting the like button. Go ahead and leave any comments below. What do you think of this episode? Or can you wait for the next ones? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Got quite a few new subscribers this past week, and I really appreciate that. And then hit the notification bell, and when I post the notification bell will be up here. When I post the review recap of episode 8, which will be next week, you'll be the first to know when I do that, and you can come over and check it out. So this is JeffMan316, your pop culture reporter, signing out, saying you guys be safe out there.